Armoured Warfare, yet another tank game. You'd be forgiven at first glance for thinking that this is basically just World of Tanks reskinned to have modern vehicles in it in a more modern setting. You're almost right, a lot of the mechanics are the same, how you drive your tank, how the turret works, and penetration, ammunition, and all that sort of stuff is pretty much the same. If you want a more in-depth look, you could play the game past Tier 3, or even watch a video by Jingles, or the Mighty Jingles. What I have here is two matches where I had a lot of fun. First one, this is a scout tank. There are a bunch of different types of tanks in the game, but this is a scout tank. It's fast, it has a little auto cannon, great view range, but not a lot of penetration to the gun. That's okay. When you shoot things in the arse, that doesn't generally matter.
Identified.
So as you might have noticed, I've gone the back way. I've kind of only got this replay a little way into the match. The start of the match was basically me just driving along that entire flank though. Pretty much unopposed.
Identified. Hostile truck. Target in. No effect. Good hit. Ricochet, no effect.
I love the autocannon on this thing.
Identify target. Hostile. Ricochet, no effect.
Thankfully, running into that fuel tank did not kill me. And I'm lucky I got missed by the artillery. Yes, the game has artillery, and if you want to bitch and moan about it, well, cry me a river. I love this thing, it just goes zipping around the battlefield. And a lot of the scout tanks are like that, they're fast, they're nimble little things.
Ricochet. Good hit. Target in. Target locked. Ricochet, good hit. Track destroyed.
Once again I run into a fuel tank.
Identify target. Hostile. Tag. Critical effect.
I'm trying to tag him there, and the ability that a lot of the scout tanks get basically allows you to mark a target, and it prevents them from being hidden while they're marked for something like 15-20 seconds. And in the span of these games, when this match only lasted like 6-7 minutes, in that sort of span, that's a lifetime. It can get you killed very, very quickly, especially in a match where artillery is available. He gets a good hit on me, but it's not enough. They say that discretion is the better part of valor. Well, I have a fast tank. I'm going to use it to run away. And my phone just pinged that I have a message. I'll ignore that for now.
We're submerged. Move.
I didn't actually think I'd make it back across the river at this point. But I do, with a second to spare. So we pretty comfortably win this match. It's basically a BMD, I think it is, and the T-62s. And then of course I go ramping off a sand dune, damage myself, and damage my two tracks. What I love about this game though is that the tanks have weight to them. I mean, in World of Tanks you can stop on a dime. And you're driving 50, 60 ton tanks. This thing does not stop on a dime. And what's amazing is this is the Crisis engine. This is the game where we all make jokes about how, even with a modern system, you might be able to play it with one medium. So anyway, that was a light tank. This is an MBT. This is one of the early Leopards. In World of Tanks, I think this is like the tier 9, maybe the tier 10. In this is tier 3, because we're in modern times in this game. It still has dick all armor, but that's kind of expected. Modern tanks, I'm not an expert, but modern tanks go more for firepower and maneuverability, and basically winning the first shot exchange. A lot of tank doctrines are about that. So my match starts off a bit slowly again. And the reason I've only really got about 5 minutes of each of these matches is partly because they only went for about 5 minutes, and also because I wasn't actually recording from the start. To be fair, the start of each match is just me driving into position. So I missed that shot, it goes low, and that was one of those little scout tanks. And that's the other thing, this game has wheeled vehicles, and they handle completely differently to the tracked vehicles, as you'd expect. You cannot turn around on the spot. You actually have to have, it drives as you would expect a wheeled vehicle to drive. The tank I just fired at was an M41 Bulldog. That, I think, is an M60 Patton. And all those tanks, these tanks, they're all in World of Tanks as well. But they have different roles here. In World of Tanks, the Patton's a medium. In this, it's a main battle tank. And that's just, due to the change in the way they labelled tanks over the years.
Target destroyed.
And I love the sounds in this game.
Target hit. They hit us hard.
Angling doesn't help as much in this game since the rounds being fired at you are designed to penetrate hugely. They're designed to penetrate large swaths of armor. It does work to some extent, but extreme angling or side scraping that you see in World of Tanks doesn't really work in armoured warfare.
Identify target. Hostile truck. Good hit.
Finally get a hit on that bloody LAV. Start backing off because if I just sit there I'm going to get whaled away on by everything from an M60 to possibly an M41, probably even that LAV. This game has a great little mechanic too about overmatching, where you do less damage if your round has too much penetration compared to the armor you hit. And I think that's a cool little mechanic.
Identify. Hostile truck.
Now I know full well the M41's on low health, so I go and finish him off. Now it's time to deal with that bloody LAV. Taking a shot, no idea where it went. My armor is thin enough and his gun has enough penetration with the ammo he's firing that he is actually a threat to me, even from the front. If I was hull down, the turret has good enough armor that that wouldn't be as much of an issue. And hitting things like the cupola does not do, ridiculous amounts of damage like you'd expect in World of Tanks. Goodbye.
Target eliminated.
And that's pretty much the end of the match. It's just these two guys left, and sadly I don't get close enough to them to deal with them. This is a game worth checking out if you like World of Tanks. If you like tanks in general, it's a game worth checking out. And now it's just the T50 something down that way. I can't see the actual text because of the preview window. And yeah, end of the match. Fun game, worth checking it out.